Ladies and gentlemen, every day presents you with a battlefield, but this battlefield is not fought with swords or shields. It is waged within the corridors of your mind. The moment your eyes open in the morning, a silent war begins between who you are and who you are meant to become. That war is won by one force, and one force only: discipline. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is power. It is the highest form of self-respect. It is the decision to control what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, your habits, and to let nothing distract you from the pursuit of your chief aim. Those who master discipline do not need external motivation. They don't wait for the mood to strike. They do not ask for permission. They command their day because they have already conquered themselves. You can have talent, you can have vision, you can have dreams so large they keep you awake at night. But without discipline, those dreams will rot in your mind. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. It is the ability to choose long-term gain over short-term pleasure. It is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Many are ruled by their emotions. They act when they feel good. They rest when they feel tired. They delay when the task is difficult. But the disciplined person acts in spite of emotions. They understand that the body and mind are servants, not masters. They wake when it is time to wake. They work when it is time to work. They rest only when rest has been earned. The world does not reward wishful thinkers. It rewards those who act. Discipline transforms a wish into a plan into action, and action into results. It is the invisible hand guiding you through storms, through fatigue, through fear. It keeps you upright when others collapse. It keeps you focused when others are distracted. It keeps you climbing when others quit. The man or woman who rises each morning with purpose, who sets a definite objective and moves toward it with unwavering focus, that person is unstoppable, not because they are the most gifted, not because they are lucky, but because they are committed, and that commitment is not part-time, it is not conditional, it does not vanish when difficulty appears. That commitment is discipline, and discipline is power. Every great accomplishment is built on a foundation of disciplined effort. Empires are not built in a day, but brick by brick. The same is true of your mind, your career, your health, your wealth. Every action you take, every time you say yes to focus and no to distraction, yes to growth and no to comfort, you are laying a brick. You are building something that cannot be taken from you. Character. Understand this. Your mind is your greatest asset, but it is also your greatest enemy when left undirected. The undisciplined mind wanders. It doubts, it makes excuses, it seeks ease, but when trained, when guided by purpose and governed by discipline, your mind becomes a weapon. You begin to see opportunity where others see obstacles. You begin to move forward while others stand still. You begin to become the architect of your own future. You cannot always control what happens around you, but you can always control how you respond. You can control whether you rise early or sleep late, whether you focus or procrastinate, whether you execute or hesitate. That control is discipline, and that control is freedom. People talk of success as if it is magic. It is not magic. It is the predictable result of daily habits, repeated with relentless consistency. The man who wins is not the one who gets lucky. It is the one who shows up, day after day, year after year, long after others have stopped showing up. That's the secret. Show up disciplined, show up focused, show up with fire in your eyes and your goal engraved in your soul. Do not wait for inspiration. Do not wait for ideal conditions. The disciplined mind does not need ideal conditions. It creates them. It carves its path through noise, through laziness, through chaos. While others talk, the disciplined act. While others wish, the disciplined will. While others plan, the disciplined perform. You were not born to live at the mercy of your moods. You were not made to drift like a leaf in the wind. You were designed to direct your life with clarity and purpose. But that begins the moment you declare that discipline is not a burden, it is your edge. It is your weapon, it is your power. Master your mind, and you will own your day. Own your day, and you will own your future. Most people underestimate the compound effect of small disciplines. They believe transformation must come from dramatic change, from some grand awakening. But the truth is far less glamorous. Real transformation is forged in silence. It is built in early mornings when no one is watching. It is crafted in lonely hours when you choose study over distraction, effort over comfort, action over delay. The world sees the outcome, but it rarely sees the discipline behind it. You cannot expect to lead others until you can lead yourself. That is where all greatness begins, in self, leadership. If your mind controls you, you will live in reaction. But if you control your mind, you will live in creation. You become the designer of your days. Each morning is no longer an accident. It becomes an opportunity. Each hour is no longer a slot to be filled. It becomes a block of time with purpose and potential. The disciplined person does not confuse motion with progress. They are not busy for the sake of being busy. They do not scatter their energy. They direct it. They understand the power of focus, because energy, when diffused, accomplishes little, but when concentrated, it can move mountains. Discipline trains you to narrow your vision, to eliminate the unnecessary, and to give your all to what matters most. You do not rise by accident. You rise because you refuse to be average. You rise because you have decided that the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. Most people will look back on their lives not haunted by what they did, but by what they failed to do, the dreams they didn't chase, the ideas they didn't pursue, the chances they let slip away because comfort whispered louder than courage. But you are not most people. You are called to rise, not shrink, to act, not wish, to discipline your life so that your life becomes a legacy. Every day you skip the necessary work, you weaken your will. Every day you surrender to laziness, you make it harder to stand tomorrow, but every time you resist, every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you grow. You don't just complete a task, you strengthen your identity. You become the kind of person who follows through, and that kind of person always finds a way. Discipline is not rigid, it is not lifeless routine. It is freedom in disguise. Most people misunderstand that. They think discipline means restriction, but undisciplined people are the ones truly enslaved by distraction, by indecision, by the opinions of others, by their own impulses. Discipline gives you the power to live intentionally, to choose your response, to create momentum. It builds the internal fire that burns brighter than any external motivation. You do not need a perfect plan to start. What you need is the courage to begin and the discipline to keep going. You can adjust the plan as you move forward. You can pivot, you can grow, but you must begin with action, and that action must be rooted in commitment, not temporary interest, not a burst of enthusiasm, but an unshakable decision to persist, to stay the course, to finish what you start no matter how long it takes. The difference between a life of mediocrity and a life of greatness is found in a simple truth: the great do what the average will not. They say no when it's easy to say yes. They get up when it's easier to stay down. They hold the line when others have long since let go. That ability to endure, to press forward without applause, without validation, without shortcuts, that is the signature of discipline, and it is the price of excellence. There are no secrets waiting to be discovered that will replace the power of disciplined action. You may seek strategies, shortcuts, hacks, but they will all fail if not built upon a foundation of consistency and commitment. The real work is not flashy, it is repetition, it is routine, it is mastering the basics so thoroughly that they become instinct. That's how you build excellence, not once, but every day, until it becomes your way of life. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for conditions to be perfect. Begin where you are, with what you have, and do what you can. The more you do this, the more strength you gain. And the stronger you become, the more you realize that the limits you once saw were not real. They were just barriers in your mind waiting to be torn down by discipline. Discipline sharpens your vision. It helps you say no to the distractions that want your attention, and yes to the actions that move your mission forward. Every time you act with discipline, you are voting for the person you wish to become. And with enough votes, that person emerges not by luck, not by chance, but by daily construction. You cannot outsource this journey. No one else can build your dream for you. No one else can wake up for you, study for you, sacrifice for you. The responsibility is yours, but that's not a burden, it's your greatest power. You are the one in control. You hold the pen, you write the story, and discipline is the ink that makes every line count. So take ownership of your minutes, your hours, your days. Demand more from yourself. Set a standard so high that your future self thanks you for never settling. Remember, you don't need more time, more talent, or more opportunity. You need more discipline, and once you have that, nothing can stop you. Discipline is the silent architect behind every achievement worth pursuing. While the world applauds the outcome, the disciplined individual has already moved on to the next challenge, the next summit, the next level of personal evolution. They do not bask in their victories for long, because their mission is not defined by moments, but by a lifelong commitment to growth. Growth that is deliberate, sustained, and most of all, earned. You must understand that the disciplined life is not about deprivation, it is about direction. It is about orienting your thoughts, your actions, and your habits toward a clearly defined purpose. When you live with discipline, you are no longer pulled in 1,000 directions by every whim, impulse, or distraction. You become centered, anchored, immovable. You are not easily swayed by criticism or inflated by praise. You are focused on one thing, the realization of your potential. There will always be those who look for the easy road, the shortcut, the magic button. Let them. That road leads nowhere. It is littered with broken promises and abandoned goals. But the one who walks the disciplined path, who faces each day with intentional effort, who chooses to work when it is hard, to persist when it is slow, to improve when no one is watching, that person is forging a life of meaning. There is a quiet confidence that develops in the disciplined soul. It does not come from arrogance, but from self-trust, and that trust is not built on hope, it is built on evidence. You begin to trust yourself when you do what you said you would do. When you wake up at the time you promised, when you follow through on the plan you created, when you show up for your goals, even when the feelings are gone, that repetition of right action, day in and day out, creates an inner strength that no hardship can break. Too many people wait to feel ready. They wait for inspiration, for clarity, for motivation to knock on their door. But those who are driven by discipline do not wait. They act. They act because they have decided that progress matters more than comfort. That consistency is more valuable than excitement. That discipline, while often dull and uncelebrated, is the only way to produce extraordinary results. And let there be no confusion. The disciplined life is not the easier life. It demands something of you. It will test your resolve. It will ask you to walk away from comfort, from distraction, from excuses. But what it gives you in return is priceless freedom, the freedom to live on your own terms. The freedom to build something meaningful, the freedom to rise above average. You will be tempted to stray. You will be tempted to break your promise to yourself. In those moments, remember, every time you honor your discipline, you're casting a vote for the person you wish to become. And every time you abandon it, you reinforce the chains of weakness and doubt. This is not about perfection. It is about alignment. It is about being so clear on what you want that you are willing to do whatever it takes, not just once, but as a way of life. There are no shortcuts on this path, but there are simple truths that, if lived consistently, will transform your life. Wake up with purpose. Start your day before the world begins to pull you in all directions. Set intentions, review your goals, visualize your success, then do the work required to bring it to life. Schedule your time, guard your focus. Master the morning and the day will follow. Master the day and the weeks become productive. Master your weeks and the years begin to serve your vision, and when resistance comes, and it will meet it with resolve, when doubt whispers, respond with action. When laziness tempts, remember your why. You do not need to be the most talented, the most intelligent, or the most connected, but you must be the most committed. Discipline beats brilliance when brilliance stops showing up. One of the greatest benefits of living with discipline is that your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries to do things, and you begin to see yourself as someone who does them. That identity shift is powerful, because once you believe you are the kind of person who takes action, keeps promises, and resists excuses. Then you begin to behave in alignment with that identity, and behavior, repeated, becomes destiny. Make no mistake, discipline is a muscle. It is not something you are born with in full strength. It is developed through repetition, and like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Each day is a chance to train. Each decision is a rep, and each rep moves you closer to mastery. You must treat your discipline as sacred, because it is. It is the foundation on which everything else rests. Success without discipline is a mirage. It may look impressive from afar, but it will not last. Without the habits to support it, without the consistency to sustain it, success crumbles under pressure. But when discipline is in place, success becomes inevitable, not because it falls into your lap, but because it is built step by step, with deliberate intent. The world will offer you countless distractions. It will reward you for conformity. It will try to convince you that mediocrity is normal, that indulgence is deserved, that discipline is unnecessary, but do not listen. The world needs more people with unshakable focus. It needs more men and women who rise early, work hard, and live with intention. It needs people like you who refuse to settle, who push beyond their limits, who become examples of what is possible. Your dreams demand more than desire. They demand discipline. You cannot simply wish them into existence. You must work them into reality, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. What you repeat, you become. What you become, you live. And the life you live will either be the result of disciplined action or the consequence of undisciplined delay. There is a voice inside you, faint but persistent, calling you to rise, to grow, to become. That voice gets louder when you live with integrity. It gets clearer when you align your behavior with your deepest goals, and it begins to guide you, not with chaos, but with certainty. Because the disciplined mind is not just a powerful mind, it is a peaceful one. It knows what it wants. It is undistracted. It is grounded in purpose. There is no substitute for showing up, no replacement for effort, no gimmick that will take the place of consistency. Show up even when you're tired. Show up even when no one applauds. Show up when the results are invisible, because that is the very moment when your character is being built. That is where discipline lives, in the space between what is easy and what is necessary. Your path will not be straight. There will be setbacks, failures, delays, but the disciplined mind is not shaken by setbacks. It absorbs them, learns from them, moves forward stronger. That's the hidden beauty of discipline. It is not rigid, it is resilient. It gives you the structure to persist, but the flexibility to adapt. It is not the absence of struggle, it is the refusal to be defeated by it. You must treat your time as sacred, not because time is scarce, but because purpose is rare. Do not waste hours on things that do not move you forward. Every yes to distraction is a no to your dream. Every compromise with laziness is a betrayal of your future. Live with the awareness that your days are limited, and that each one is either building your vision or drifting you from it. You don't need to be extraordinary to begin, but you must begin to become extraordinary. The seed of greatness lies in disciplined action, not once, not occasionally, but repeatedly, until it becomes your nature. And once it is your nature, you no longer force yourself to act, you simply act, because that is who you are. This is not about grinding mindlessly. It is about working wisely. It is about aligning your habits with your highest values. It is about cutting away what is shallow so that you can go deep, deep into mastery, deep into purpose, deep into the life you are meant to live. Discipline does not just give you results, it gives you meaning. It gives you control. It gives you the rarest gift of all, self-respect, because when the day ends and the lights fade and the noise settles, there is only one person you must answer to: yourself. And the question you will always ask, whether consciously or not, is this: did I do what I said I would do? Did I show up with focus? Did I honor my potential? Did I live with discipline? Let the answer be yes, not once, but every day. Let the answer be yes, because the truth is, each day is a declaration. Every time you act with discipline, you're not just moving toward your goals, you're making a statement about who you are and what you stand for. In a world that pulls you in 1,000 directions, choosing to stay the course is a radical act. It is an act of strength, of clarity, of purpose, and it is this act, repeated over and over again, that separates the drifters from the doers, the dreamers from the builders. You must remember that discipline is not something you apply only when it's convenient. It is not a tool to be used occasionally and then forgotten. Discipline must be part of your identity, woven into your thoughts, your choices, your routines. It must be the lens through which you see your time, your energy, your opportunity. Because when you are disciplined, you no longer chase results, you attract them. You no longer hope for progress, you ensure it. Your mind, when governed by discipline, becomes a powerful force. It stops doubting and starts directing. It stops reacting and starts creating. It becomes the engine of your evolution. And the moment you realize that you control this engine, that you can train it, sharpen it, strengthen it, is the moment you claim true power. There are no limits for the one who lives with discipline. There are only levels, and each level demands a greater version of you. So rise, rise with intention, rise with commitment, rise with discipline, because the life you want, the success you seek, the greatness you feel within you, it will not come to you. You must go to it, and discipline is the path. Discipline is the power. In conclusion, discipline is the cornerstone of achievement and success. It is the invisible force that shapes your destiny, the quiet strength that propels you forward when others falter. It is not born of inspiration or fleeting motivation, but of a decision to act with purpose, consistency, and resolve day after day. As you master discipline, you master yourself. You become the architect of your future, designing each moment, each choice, each action with intention. And in doing so, you unlock your true potential, ensuring that the life you build is not left to chance, but to the unwavering power of your own commitment. Own your day, master your mind, and the life you dream of will no longer be just a vision, it will be your reality.